Geek House Light Mode? Oh yeah, we're using Geek House Light Mode. We're shutting off all the Geek House Dark Mode stuff because we're going retro. Laptop, get rid of it. Delosaurus, get rid of it. We're going back, and we're going back to our roots.
The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
Oh yeah, when I say we're going back, I mean we're going back. As best as we can. I mean, I'm not bringing back a tube monitor for this, and I have a perfectly good flat panel right there. And of course, we got the Silver Bullet. I used to use an HP keyboard with it. This is the only HP keyboard I have now, so no fancy light-up stuff. And my original, very, very yellowed Microsoft IntelliMouse Explorer 3, if it's even still usable as a mouse. Otherwise, I'll manually override that with the IntelliMouse Classic that I use with the laptop. I'll just turn off the light and the settings on the laptop if I have to do that. But yeah, we're going all the way back to the beginning. One of the things that I talk about when it comes to technology is the silent aging of technology. When you build stuff right, it'll just work and work and work, and next thing you know, it'll be a 5-year-old computer, a 10-year-old computer, or in this case with the Silver Bullet, just shy of a 20-year-old computer. This machine is old enough to move out of the house and get a job and get its own place, darn it. The original hardware, of course, unfortunately died of capacitor plague, but a while back I put my 2005 system in there. So we're looking at an Athlon 64-4000 with some Windows XP level of RAM from the Windows XP era. 64-bit processor, but we've got some Windows XP lying around. And we are going to just nerd this out like crazy. Instead of looking at like some how-to on the internet of how to install XP in the 2020s, I'm actually just going to put on camera what happens if you install XP in the 2020s. So, as part of that, that's one of the reasons why I'm using Geek House Light Mode and all dumb lights. No smart lights, because I'm going to be shutting off all the computers and disabling the wireless in the house so that none of my smart devices can connect to the internet. I want this thing, if I put a Windows XP machine on the network in 2021, I want it to be the only thing on the network. Because who knows what's lurking out there these days. And of course, this is also one of the reasons why I'm not doing this in a live stream. Because you imagine if I was doing this live, that would not end well. So, yeah, Windows, the Silver Bullet is old enough and obsolete enough to be a retro system. Some people have done retro builds before, like Ultimate Windows 98 PC and stuff like that. I'm going to start with an OS whose era is near and dear to my heart, Windows XP. Once upon a time, the solution to everything wrong with your computer back in college was get XP. Oh, Windows 2000's acting weird with a certain game? Get XP. Oh, you don't like how this is running or how that's running? Get XP. And get the professional version because the kernel was better than the Windows XP Home Edition, which was kind of limited. And you'd have the same operating system as the college computers, so, you know, keep everything consistent like that. There will be a ton of nostalgia as we set about doing this project and figuring out how to do this project. But yeah, the Silver Bullet next year, or next year, as in almost but not quite next winter, the winter after this coming one, will be a 20-year-old system. And next summer, summer of 2022, is the 20-year anniversary of the Summer of the Geek, when I worked on campus with the IT folks at my college for the first time, and really, really got into computer hardware for the first time. So, there will be a ton of nostalgia and walking down memory lane. Now let's see where we're at with this system and what bizarre kind of tinkering we have to do to get it running properly. Peripherals are a little weird, but hey, it's what I want to use for this. This old HP keyboard I got really cheap, like $7 or something, when a Kmart was going out of business or something like that. But yeah, so back in the day I used to use my old HP Pavilion's keyboard with the silver bullet. This is the only HP keyboard I have, but close enough. And of course, the Microsoft IntelliMouse Explorer 3 from the early 2000s. I know it still works from the recent mouse experiment, but it is gross and it is yellow and it looks hideous. It's very much, the plastic is all chemically changing and stuff, but it still works as a mouse. If it gets too gross or it finishes breaking on me, I have an IntelliMouse Classic. But I gamed on an IE3 back in those days, and this IE3 has stood the test of time except for the yellowing plastic. Still functional as a mouse, even though its sensor is from... Heck, you can even still see the barcode and stuff on the bottom. That didn't wear off in nearly 20 years. But yeah, this was my Morrowind mouse. This was my Morrowind system. And by the way, when I go to install games on this thing, they're going to be CD games. And Elder Scrolls Morrowind Game of the Year Edition on CD is probably going to be one of the games we try running. Remember, this thing has a single-core processor, so we have to keep the games period appropriate. And we're running a 32-bit OS, so we're limited to no more than 4 gigs of RAM, which will probably get cut down to 3. So 2 gigs of RAM is probably the sweet spot. Did I even have 2 gigs of RAM in this thing, or did I stop at 1.5 gigs? Whatever. Actually, the motherboard in this thing has original DDR. Oh yes, baby, we are going back. The case has a window, because the Chieftec case I wanted for the silver bullet that didn't have the window is out of stock when I bought this thing. So this is technically my first and only system with a window. That was fun to look inside and see all the spaghetti cable wiring. Well, the power supply is modern at least. Yeah. AMD Athlon 64 4000 Plus. We'll have to check the temps on it, see if we have to replace the, probably by now, concrete heatsink compound from 2005, because it's running a stock cooler. And see, R5670, the oldest Radeon graphics card I have, might still have XP drivers. I'm gonna have to see for myself if it does. But first order of business, does any of this still work? We have power, we have no drives, so we'll see if it posts. It's also, we can plug a speaker into the onboard audio as well. Alright, 3, 2, 1, get postcodes that way. CPU fan still spins, the whiny 80mm Vantex Stealths still spin, and the graphics card still spins. And it's like, what the hell? I don't have any drives. I'm not doing anything. Well, we get a post, and we get a generic Asus A8N SLI Premium start screen, which tells me you might have to swap out the CMOS battery. This might be the second or third one. It's probably, no, it's definitely at least this. It's an Energizer, it's not KTS. So that might be the second battery that has to be replaced with the third battery. We have nothing on the screen. The fan controller should still work though, it's just the display doesn't work anymore. Turn everything down. Nope, all that noise is coming from the processor fan. Oh man. Vantex Stealth. This will need some air through them anyways. We'll have to see how hot it runs. Alright, let's find a drive for this thing. Drive? Oh yes, you heard me right. As part of the retro experience, we're not putting an SSD in this thing. Although it'd be interesting to see how much of a waste of an SSD it is. We'll see what we have to play with here. So we have a 250 gig Seagate. I've got old data array drives that we can pick from this. So I have two 250 gig Seagate Barracudas, a 250 gig Seagate Barracuda with a green sticker on it, a Western Digital WD-1200. Can I get what's a capacity on this thing? From 2005. I think this came out of a computer. Oh, no. This has jumpers on it, so... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, there are still jumpers on these things. Wait, no, this one still has jumpers. Going way back on that one. My final Maxter drive. Did this thing ever die? 60 gig Diamond Max plus 9, but it's parallel ATA. I don't even know why I even still have it, other than a souvenir that Maxter used to make drives. 160 gig Seagate and a creaky chair to boot, 120 gig Barracuda, and a lot of these older drives, they just have more materials in them, they're so heavy. Now, for their lack of speed and everything, I think we'll just put in one of these 250 gig Seagates and just finish it off somehow. Like maybe one of the ones from my old data array or something like that. We want the retro experience, and that means a mechanical hard drive, and all of the drive grinding and other crap that comes with it. Like I said, the nostalgia is going to be spread thick with this kind of a project. Yeah, so in between running the camera, I have Pandora on my speakers playing 2000s rock radio. And I'm hearing all of these songs I haven't heard in years. Makes me wonder, whatever happened to, music like Daughtry and, Seether and stuff like that. So, one of the problems with this case is there was no concept of cable management other than zip ties back then. So most of the cable management I did would usually consist of stuffing the excess cables between the power supply and the top of the case. So is this the PC power and cooling. It doesn't even have a fan down there. So these fans are going to be doing double duty with the stock cooler for this thing. So the RAM in this thing is 2 sticks. I think if I remember right, I got 2 gigs of RAM working in this thing, which is what I wanted for an XP machine anyways. So the fans are controlled by the motherboard. That wasn't a thing back in the Silver Bullet's heyday, but I do still have the cables if I want to use the fan controller again. And because we're getting nostalgic, even though I don't know if I even still have a floppy cable, we're going to put some power, and I don't have any floppy disks, haven't had them for years. We're going to put some power to the floppy drive so it starts up and goes as part of the startup. We want nostalgia. We're going to get nostalgia. One very important thing though, I'm going to follow the rules. I rebuilt the old drive array from when I used to run this machine. I would always have a gap in the middle so the drives wouldn't get too hot. The more important drive would be on the bottom, so the heat from that drive would potentially cook the heat above it. But what I'm going to do, this is XP. I want to make sure I don't install XP on the wrong drive. We're going to leave the power disconnected on the second drive and maybe use it for games and stuff. It's a pair of 250 gigs. I've used them in a data array before, similar to the 2 terabyte one I have now. So, alright, let's power it up. And do we have power to the optical drive? Okay, yep. Let's power it up and figure out what Windows XP we want to install. My 2 copies of Windows XP, both of them are from college. One of them is newer than the other one, though. I gotta see which of them is the newest, and we'll install that. I don't even know how we're gonna activate it. We're gonna be stupid. We're actually going to turn off all the other devices, make sure this is the only thing on the network, and we're gonna go through all the rigmarole of installing XP in 2021, just to see what that's like, even if we're doing it the stupid way. Okay, let's get ready for first boot. Hey, by the way, shows the age of this case. The thumb screws actually have rust on them. The thumb screws are rusting. 20-year-old Chieftec Dragon case. Hey, this is what the Alienwares were using at the time, so even though it's aluminum and had vibration problems, if you played a CD-ROM game that spun at the wrong speed, in a certain speed CD-ROM drive, even though it rattled all over the place because it was aluminum, this was high-end back then. Yeah, this is what Alienware was using. That's one of the reasons why I got it. Plenty of room to work for the time. 120mm fans rendered this case obsolete very, very quickly, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing a retro system with it. I cannot for the life of me put anything else in here and keep a straight face. Now let's see how dead that CMOS battery is. Actually, no. Before we unplug drives and stuff like that, it would be nice if we blanked them. Oh yeah, we're getting old school. Handy use for rewritable DVDs, by the way. Look at all this gunk that's gotten all over this system. Is this going to buff out? I don't know. The floppy drive is turning yellow as well. Signs of the times, don't you think? I forgot to turn the power supply back on. Whatever.
Epic fail.
MultimediaJay is in his house. I gotta do something about that X-Fi, though. That X-Fi, this drive... No, I don't know if I still have the card to this. The card might still work in XP. But the card that's actually in there is too new for XP. It's from the Windows 7 era. We have no power light. Alright, we'll fix that. It's probably one of those dumb little plugs on the motherboard that came loose. This thing's been unplugged for a while, so... Some actual noise from a computer, because it's using 80mm fans. Which is why you don't use 80mm fans. Alright. A8N SLI. Why don't we just check in the BIOS and see what we have? This thing should have... This thing is about as loud as it was when I first built it. I think I need to, yeah. I gotta get the fan controller hooked up. I can't just leave that as is. This is what my roommate used to complain about before I bought the darn fan controller. Your computer is effing loud. Yeah, because he bought a brand new Dell Dimension with 120mm fans, and I was building my own with 80s. Yep, dead CMOS battery. January 1st, 2005 was a Saturday. What other information? Installed memory, 2 gigs. So that's right, at least. I am not going to be listening to that, though. The original processor in the Silver Bullet was AMD Athlon XP 2000, and it ran like 55 to 60 degrees most of the time, because I had Multiwave build my motherboard for me because I was too chicken to do it myself. Back in the day. But what the thing is, though, after the TAC addition to the ATX standard with the windows that put windows for direct fans into the side of the machine so that they wouldn't overheat, because Pentium 4s and AMD Athlons were so hot back then. Yeah, after the wonderful era when computers doubled as space heaters, things started cooling down. But I'm getting sick of this thing's noise already. So yeah, we need a new CMOS battery. And we need to plug the power light back in. Well, let's get to work on that after we do the G-parted thing. Oops. Well, some of the fans have slowed down. Maybe they're only running full speed because I was in the BIOS. Yeah, we gotta see if we get that power light working. It just looks different without any lights on it. Except the hard drive light is working. Come on, start, you piece of crap. I know it's like the first... Oh, here we go. Yeah, uh-huh. Let's see if it'll even boot. Or is it not gonna pick the right device to boot off of? Pop that door. Check some error, defaults loaded. Shut up and run G-parted. Is it even gonna run G-parted? Yeah, this is an old school tech video to go with the old school computer, where we just sit here pointing a camera like an idiot and seeing if anything happens. It is a single... Oh, the drive's detected. But yeah, it is a single core processor. So... Hey, look, no operating system, you idiot. Please try disconnecting any drives that don't contain one. Now, how about you boot off the CD so I can blank those effing drives? Tear the whole thing apart again.
Epic fail.
Alright, this should be a lot more to our liking. The lights actually work, plugged a few things back in, and I can unfortunately hear some day shift folks starting their cars to go to work, so we're gonna start getting noise. We're gonna have to call it here at the end of night 1 here. But here we go. Silver Bullet to G-parted to nuke the drives. We'll just nuke the drives tonight, and then we'll come back for Windows XP and see how that works. Everything is going to be slow because it's a 2005 single-core system. Yep, 2 gigs of RAM, DDR400, NVIDIA Enforce for the chipset. Yikes. There's a RAID on here, so this thing could have taken 8 serial ATA drives once upon a time. It's just too bad that, you know, nowadays I could pack like 8 SSDs on a motherboard that was made for a single-core processor. Yeah, just all side effects of not wanting a perfectly good running system that's 15 plus years old to turn into e-waste. By the way, 100 watts, so we're blowing 100 watts to run this thing. And I don't think... Windows XP had some support if you turned on like laptop mode or power save mode, there was a buried Windows setting that would actually throttle the processor if you had something like Intel Speed Step. But let's see, this is the newer version of Gparted, so yeah, okay, I guess it is loading, albeit very slowly. I just wanted to see if this would even work on hardware this old. This is actually the AMD 64 version of Gparted, so it might actually be way too new for all of this, but it looks like Linux is slowly loading. It's going to take a while on this hardware, but at least we have our lights back. Good, I was hoping the lights weren't dead for good. Took the paint off of this thing. I should get like a silver paint pen or something and just paint over that and see how stupid it looks. Can't look any worse than it does right now, where it looks like I put a strong chemical on it and it took some stuff off. Years and years and years, and what it does to an old computer. Had to interrupt 3 doors down to do this. Alright, don't touch the key map. Let's do US English, which is 33. US English 33. And continue to start X Windows system. How long is it going to take for that to load up? Yeah, I was listening. I've got 3 doors down and Pandora's 2000s rock radio going when I'm not running the camera. Figure the music I listen to when working on this stuff should be period appropriate as well. Waiting for some Puddle of Mud to come on. Ooh, they sound just like Nirvana. Yeah, my boss at work back in the AV days. Yeah, I know, it sounds like Nirvana, and I like it. Hey, it's 76 degrees in here. It's actually warming up. We're going back to the days, of course, when running one of these things was like running a space heater. Come on, Gparted, you can do it. I know you're on a single core, but yeah, slow. This isn't like that old Heinz ketchup commercial or anything, though. I like it slow. Oh, yeah, so I was using these for games drives. So yeah, let's blow that away. Let's just blow that away, and let's nuke the other one. I think I can with my single-core processor. Well, the other one's probably games drive too, right? Hey, by the way, first confirmation... Whoa. There we go. First confirmation that the old IntelliMouse Explorer 3 still works. It just feels awful because of the changing plastic and everything. Yep, games drive 1, games drive 2. Take care of that. And I see this 20-year-old mouse works. I do have a newer mouse I can use if it conks out on me. But alright, yeah, so that's really our first validation of a GUI operating system actually working on this thing. Alright, let's shut it down. If this works the way I think it does, I should be able to shut it down and have it spit the disk out. And it's basically a Linux live CD. That should be built into the shutdown thing nowadays. This is technically the maiden voyage of the system. What time is it? You know what? Heck with it. Let's try some XP on this thing. Come on, spit the disk out and shut off. Remove the medium and close the tray if there is any, and press enter to continue. Close the tray, because there is one. Yeah, Newegg case badge, by the way, for those of you unfamiliar with my systems. Back when Newegg was 2 words. Newegg sold these things for a couple of years in the 2000s, and I just held onto them and did everything I could to make them last. Tuxedo has one too. Because cases back in those days had a little thing for a case badge, so I wanted my system to look as professional as possible. I don't think Newegg would ever do this ever again. I don't think they would want it to look like a computer was sold by Newegg or something, even though it's a custom-built system. But you know how computer cases are these days. It's not even really a case. It's more like, a terrarium with tempered glass sides and 3 swirly LED fans, and I'm looking at the days when silver and two-tone were still popular. Hey, but at least the mouse matches. Let's see here. I'm guessing the rattier one is the older one. We'll use this one to install Windows XP. Ah, yeah, sparkly CD, so you know it's genuine. Probably have to punch in a code and everything in order to start it all up. And the blue and orange, Madonna did the Quicker Than a Ray of Light song for this thing, even though it was, it was kind of pushing Windows 2000 into the history books. And a bunch of stuff to go with it. Start here, Windows XP. Look at this. Get ready for a whole new experience. Windows XP Professional has a new look and it's easier than ever to use. Look at all this old stuff here. My original version of Windows XP was actually an upgrade edition. I actually installed Windows 98 on the Silver Bullet for my older games, and then I did a dual boot with XP in 98 until I got over it and just went all XP. Look at this. Look at this nice stuff here. Experience a clean desktop, your own start menu, intuitive technology, and rich colors. IE6, MSN. I actually liked Windows, I did like Windows Luna. It actually did look pretty well. There was an electric blue theme that I want to get as well, that I used to run. Keep in mind, if you want a Windows XP experience these days and you don't know what you're doing, you just want to run it in a virtual machine. Native hardware, it's basically a disposable system at that point. Now look at how the web used to look. This is the 2000s internet right here, what used to look like with text links and a few pictures here and there, because websites still had to be dial-up friendly and crap like that. And Windows Marketplace, and look at this. Box copies of software you had to install off of floppy disks and CD-ROMs. Okay, are we ready to boot off of this Windows CD? I sure am. Heck with getting to sleep on time. Yep, that's an old Thermaltake fan controller. Used to have something that would monitor your CPU temperature too. You'd basically put a sensor in between your heatsink fins and monitor your temperature that way. These days, motherboards do that for you. So, ready? Retro! That floppy drive, you gotta see if that goes too. I want the floppy drive to make noise as part of the boot. As part of the boot process. Or do I have to actually plug it in to get it to do that? I think I'd have to plug it in in order for that to happen. That means I gotta find a floppy cable. Do I even still have a floppy cable? I think I got rid of that in the Great Sift. Yeah, no, I gotta find a floppy cable and not plug it in upside down. We might do that tomorrow night then. Technically tonight, but night shift tomorrow night. Okay, we ready? Windows XP, man! Used to joke about that so much. It would have been better if I actually did the shots with the Windows XP and stuff like that. It would have been better if I did that in the oh, here we go. If I put that in the shot instead of the box, it's barely staying closed because it has a lot of my copies of Windows 7 and things like that are in there too. Kind of turned into my Windows box over the years. Before Windows became a downloadable thing with Windows 10. Oh, look at this. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right here. Windows setup on a nice modern flat panel. Press F6 if you have to install third-party SCSI or whatnot. F2 if you're going to use this as a recovery disk. And I wonder if the motherboard will start controlling the hardware extraction, kernel debugger, DLL, da-da-da-da-da-da. We are so going back with this. Some noise with the hard drives, but loading drivers on this pathetic single-core processor that's probably slower than most smartphones these days. Like I said, retro experience, no SSDs. I've done Windows XP on an SSD before, and I think I might have done Windows 98 on an SSD before. It's just so fast. Faster than we remember it because, of course, it's an SSD. Alright, everything that we do with this setup is going to take a while because single-core processor, old-fashioned hard drive. Let's begin. To set up Windows, press Enter. To repair, press R. To quit, press F3. You know what? Considering what time it is, let's do it. Oh, man. Is this a nerdy enough project that I might call off work to do this in the evening? No, it's not. Things aren't too difficult right now. I'll just use the alarm that I usually use for oversleeping. See, that's the thing. I mean, I'm being thrown back to, you know why guys like me are so annoyed about having to reinstall Windows, or having to do Windows resets? Because reinstalling Windows used to be this ordeal. And when you're installing all your software off of CD-ROMs and stuff like that, you could easily spend an afternoon bringing your computer back from nothing. Just crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. I'm being reminded of that right now because is the CD drive staying on all? No, it's not always spinning either. Oh, we got the EULA here. Yeah, we might actually wait for the processor to catch up in between the CD drive spinning. Of course, it is a 48 speed if I remember right. It's a DVD multi, but when games got smart enough, just put them on the hard drive instead of spinning the CD every single time. Well, if anything, this will give me something to play my XP-era CD games on, including Elder Scrolls Oblivion. So, I don't think Skyrim's a Steam game, it won't run. Alright, where do we have to type in the code? Oh, okay. To set up XP, press Enter, create a partition, press da-da-da-da. Unpartition space, 250 gigs, give me NTFS, and then start installing Windows XP. Keep in mind, no network connection. We're going to take everything down, so this is the only thing on the network. If I'm going to put a Windows XP machine on the network with just a router firewall between it and whatever nefarious crap is lurking out there. There's also not going to be any personal information or accounts on here. We're going to use a generic account called MultimediaJay and pretty much everything. We're not going to do any real computing on this thing. We might try surfing the web until it gets infected with viruses, but or maybe we won't. Let's turn it into a retro gaming system. See, actually, no, I'm going to install a lot of retro software off of CDs. I just got to find all the CDs for them. I want this, when it's done, to be an approximation or kind of a recreation of what everything was like for me in the Windows XP era. So, hard drives, old games, and Microsoft Agent. I got to find the CyberBuddy program and reinstall that. So I'll have a little robot pop up. Hello, Jason. Today's date is blah, 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 2021. Have a nice day. None of the features is still going to work besides telling me the time, but I want this to run like my college computer did. And maybe play a few games as well. The graphics card that I have in this thing is newer than the one I had in college. So if we can find some XP drivers for it still, there's an entire enthusiast community out there that's dedicated to retro computers. So if I get stumped, I'll poke around a little. Oh, look what I found. Windows 98 for PCs without Windows. For distribution with a new PC only. Yep, it was distributed with a new PC. My PC. Yeah, to get a discounted copy of Windows XP when I originally built the Silver Bullet, I actually bought a discounted copy of Windows 98 and then bought the upgrade. I suspected well, the thing is, I figured I'd need a dual boot system anyways, because of some older games I have that didn't work in Windows 2000. I figured they wouldn't work in Windows XP either, so problem with Windows 98, running it on this thing, is it just has too much RAM. I don't think you can go past 512 megs of RAM in a 98 machine. Yeah, I think that's the max RAM for it, and even that, I don't know. Software limits. As the hardware left the software in the dust. Yeah! Alright, where do we type in the product key? Yeah! Don't tell Chris Pirillo. There's a video in my classic YouTube playlist on my channel where Chris Pirillo, many years ago, was like, "Stop using XP!" Oh, look at this, an exciting new look. Visual design that combines a sleek look, clean lines, and appealing colors, a task-oriented design, and exceptionally streamlined navigation. So, when we get this the way we want it, we'll probably save an image file. Probably see if we can find a way to save an image file. So, setup will complete in 39 minutes. That was never accurate. Yeah. So, I don't know, we should make a playlist of this. We did this with Windows 10 versus the Delosaurus, and people really liked that kind of stuff. Yeah, try the easiest Windows yet. Oh, man. Hey, check it out. It has CD burning. That's right. Because once upon a time, you needed to buy proprietary software to burn CDs. Windows XP let you burn CDs directly from Windows. I know that sounds like such a basic, actually obsolete thing these days, with terabyte SD cards and stuff like that. Speaking of which, I gotta try one of those. I wonder how well you can use an SD card as a games drive. Very, very Druaga if the guy would put like Windows 2000 on an SD card. Windows Update provides you with critical updates and hardware support files. Yeah, it probably doesn't work anymore. Matter of fact, I'm very, very sure it doesn't work anymore, because Vista 7, 8, 8.1, Windows XP was 4 Windowses ago. Like I said, the silent aging of technology. Pass me my Metamucil, darn it. Windows XP starts faster than any previous version of Windows. Yeah. In the pre-SSD era, it would eventually devolve into a giant grind fest of your hard drive grinding for 5 minutes. And if you had a system that didn't have enough RAM and it was using your hard drive for virtual memory, you could very easily have the drive light pretty much never turn off, and you'd wonder why your computer was slow. It's because your poor hard drive was serving the purpose of RAM half the darn time. I just remember when I went off to college, and folks at the supermarket my dad was working at as a meat cutter at the time were like, "Oh, you're getting your son a computer for college. Make sure that, make sure it doesn't have more than 64 megabytes of RAM. If he gets you to buy a computer with 128 megs of RAM, it's because he wants to play video games on it." Guilty as charged. But look at how computers have evolved in the last 20 years, though. That's probably not something that anybody would say anymore. Back to waiting for the hard drive to get its hard drive-y stuff on. Hard drives. I actually think I would get better results running Windows XP on an SD card, but we'll leave that to the Druagas of the world to experiment with. Regional and language options. Remember this. Type your full name and the name of your company and organization. J. No. Let's have some fun with this. MultimediaJay. Jay's Geek House. Not bad for one finger. Yeah, well, breaking in this old IntelliMouse, too. Can't wait to play some CD Morrowind on this thing. Blast from the past, baby! This might take a while.
Epic fail.
So I wound up typing in the wrong date, because you can actually type a date in that box instead of having to click through all those calendars. We'll fix that when we get to a desktop. Let's see here. Give me typical network settings. This is pretty stupid, but just for the heck of it, I would be completely nuts if I had a Windows XP machine still on my home network with any other machines. Yeah. There used to be something you had to modify in order to get onto the college network back in the day. I just forgot what it was. I think the situation was there was some weird DNS information on my original HP, and I had to basically shut that off and set it back to auto detect in order to connect to the college network. Actually, I wound up having to buy a network card because of the no, it wasn't the network card. I allegedly had to buy Windows 2000 in order to get on the college network, because the student network technician way back when was like, yeah, just get Windows 2000. Windows 98 sucks. His boss was like, you spent money on Windows 2000 because of this guy? And I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, darn it, I told this guy not to do that. Watch. Here's how easy it is to fix your inability to connect to the campus network. You didn't have to buy Windows 2000. Well, it's probably good that I wasn't using a Windows 98 PC for my first 2 years of college. No, dual boot it was. Windows 2000 for my schoolwork, and when the weekend rolled around and I finally took a break from all the studying, Windows 98 for games. Oh yeah. We all gotta start somewhere. And I started somewhere. With my fake surround sound, which couldn't even be surround sound, with a pair of Polk Audio computer speakers that came with the system, and a Kmart subwoofer that was like $20. Look, I got a subwoofer. It has no bass. Okay, I'll throw it in a desk drawer. If any of my college buddies ever see this video, they'll remember those days. Like, yeah, I remember when you used to put the subwoofer in your desk drawer for more bass. Because we have hard wooden dorm desks. So my little 4-inch pathetic excuse for a subwoofer that I picked up from Kmart, throw it in a desk drawer. Didn't I tell you, folks, the nostalgia would be spread very, very thick with this discussion. Or, you know, I've learned a lot about impromptu speaking from all the streaming I've been doing. So, you know, we can just sit here and watch Windows slowly install on a single-core processor and a hard drive and stay talking about stuff. This is the part where someone jumps into the comments and was like, hey, this should have been a stream. That would have been more boring if it was a stream. By the way, like and subscribe. Built on the proof and reliability of Windows 2000. Yeah. It was great having a version of Windows that didn't blue screen and crash under normal use. You know how many times I had, like, high school teachers that didn't know anything about computers that would see, like, you know, my Windows 98 machine crash and they think I was the reason why? You're just messing with too much stuff. I'm like, I'm just trying to use the darn thing. I'm typing up lab reports and I'm recording wave sounds in Voitra audio station. Like, give me a break. It's Windows 98. It sucks. And it breaks under normal use. I think I accidentally deleted a partition on my hard drive once in high school. And or something like that. And I had to get the recovery CDs. And the shop instructors were like, is it a computer yet? Reminiscing on my younger days. Whatever. I accidentally deleted a partition on my first college computer as well. I was in the computer labs learning how to repartition a drive for the first time as my brand new, barely like a month old machine was useless in the dorm room. You gotta start somewhere, and when you do start, you're gonna be dumb, inexperienced, and stupid. But it's a start. Let's do this. 2 gigs of RAM, DDR400, Enforce 4, 250 gig hard drive, optical drive. This still has the Windows XP CD in it. This is what it was like back in the day. This video is so long and we're just staring at screens. Welcome, all you younger folks, to what it was like to set up a computer or redo your computer back in the day. And we haven't even started with the software yet. That's going to be off of slow CD-ROMs too. So grab some popcorn, put your feet up, stop complaining, and take some notes, because this is what the bad old days used to be like. Finally! Windows XP! This is one of the few times that logo is going to disappear as quickly as it does. No graphics. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Hurry, to improve the appearance of visual elements, we're going to automatically adjust the resolution. What am I, going to go to 1024 by 768? I think so. Alright. I haven't done this in many, many years. Yeah. We have sound through the USB speakers that are like 20 years newer. I can't control the volume though. No Microsoft agent speaking though. Can't believe it. Those speakers are like 20 years newer than XP. They're like close to it. jam to those Windows tunes. Hey, Microsoft, I better not get content ID'd for this. This is a nostalgia trip. Hey, help protect... Oh, you hear that click noise? The old click noise every time you clicked something in IE6. Help protect my PC by turning on automatic updates now. So I do want to build an image file off of this somehow. Alright. Your name, MultimediaJay. We'll just do that. Type the name of each person who will use this computer for user accounts. Yeah. So no cat holding up a championship belt saying, Windows is all yours, have fun. Thank you. Congratulations, you're ready to go. To learn about the exciting new features of Windows XP, take the product tour. You can also find useful information and help and support. These options are located on the Start menu. I just want to jam to this music. Somebody has to have a YouTube video of just this music, right? Okay, ready? Oh, this is so dramatic. Just turn the lights out. Look at the screen. So you ready for Windows XP? I am ruining the show flow, but this magic moment. Ready? Anyways, if you want to listen to the rest of this music, dig around on YouTube. Someone has it somewhere. Do-do-do-do-de-do. Yeah! Actually, there's a much much-newer hard drive is going nuts. Typical old-school computer boot. Bam! MultimediaJay. I'm at like 1024 by 768, and I have a desktop. Your computer is at risk because no antivirus. I may have to sneaker net some security software over here. Oh, here we go. I might have to sneaker net some security software over here in order for this and stuff like that. But let's see here. Oh, look at this. Yeah, well, let's just go crazy in the control panel, which is how we destroy these things. All right, so I never ever used this back in the heydays of Windows XP. So give me classic view, and let's see if I can remember where everything used to be. Let's see. Power options. So, oh, that's how you used to do it. So in order for the speed of your processor to throttle down, you would basically have to set your computer to portable and portable laptop, and that would actually turn on speed throttling on your processor in Windows XP. But look at all this. Yeah, advanced. Remember this old mixer? Alright, properties. Can I get something where... Is there a way to do like volume normalization? There used to be a... Oh, asterisk. $30 days left for activation. We'll do that. We'll see what we can do with that. Performance. You pick your sample rate conversion stuff. Sound effects, desktop, stereo speakers. I don't think there was a volume normalizer just yet. I don't think you had the option of that just yet. So, yeah, it'd be nice to be able to normalize the volume, but I think the most I can do is just crank the... Welcome back to Windows XP, ladies and gentlemen. And as the King James Bible says in the book of Genesis, it was the evening, then it was the morning on the first day. Yeah, all the normal people, aka day shift, are probably getting up right now, so time to get some shut-eye. We shall do all the super goofy tinkering around and stuff like that on day 2. Sleep tight. But not before we do our little last bit of nostalgia here. Oh yeah, I used to have computers where I just put the standby button and it would pop this menu open. And remember back when it was cool that Windows turned to black and white when you went to shut it down? Wasn't that awesome? There's a high definition version of this picture, by the way. Someone went out to that location in California, took a picture of it and souped it up. I actually retweeted it at Microsoft after throwing it through Picasa a little bit. All right, I think we're... Well, why wait? Why question that? Let's just take a look at this. We're at 800 by 600. We have no widescreen support, so we'll need a graphics card thing for that. But I did used to play Morrowind at 800 by 600 back in college. So it's not an issue that we're running Windows in 800 by 600, but wow, 800 by 600 looks like garbage on today's displays. So we'll see if this thing can run 1080p without overheating. All right. Anyways, wait for it to turn black and white like in the olden days. Yeah, Microsoft needs to put some functionality like this in Windows 11 for like retro mode or something, just so people can like have some nostalgia here and there. All right, still loving this IntelliMouse Explorer 3 that still works after 20 years. It looks hideous, but it still works. There we go! Logging off, shutting down. This is where it would get stuck shutting down forever and I'd have to pull the plug. But not this time because it's brand new Windows that we haven't done anything with. Alright, this is the part where we actually get some sleep. And come back to some more computer tinkering and see what happens on day 2.